Interning Abroad, Scientific Knowledge and Global Perspective in Florence. So I want to talk about my study abroad experience in Florence with CEA CAPA and how that changed my life, developed me professionally, and allowed me to get opportunities even after CEA CAPA. So a little bit about me. I am an international student from Zimbabwe. As you can see, that is my flag over there, which I'm happy to represent here today. And I'm also I just graduated from Skidmore College, which is a school in upstate New York. Thank you. As a biochemistry major. And I'm very passionate about all things science. That is my field. I've really wanted to do that since I was a little kid. And the fact that I'm able to pursue my PhD after this is something that I'm very excited to do. I just want to let you know a little bit about why I did want to study abroad. I think everything just goes back to this global mindset and global perspective. I've always been an international student pretty much my whole life. I studied abroad in China in high school. Unfortunately, COVID happened, but it allowed me opportunities to open up. And then I got the opportunity to study in Denmark after that. And then I came here to the US again as an international student. And I was also an international student in Florence. So it's always like bouncing and moving forward to these all opportunities. But I'm grateful for CEA CAPA for allowing me to get to Florence and be able to pursue my passions. So I would like to say that with Florence, it's a very artsy place. When people think about Florence, they think about the art, the sculptures, everything artsy. And people question me, you have a very scientific mind. Like, how are you going to be able to find yourself in Florence when nobody does anything scientific? And that was a question of, okay, what exactly am I going to do? So I started having conversations with CEA CAPA as to how exactly am I going to find myself in this place, because I really do want to go to Florence, but I'm a very sciencey person. So I think this was a moment of critical thinking and intellectual curiosity, not only from me, but with CEA CAPA as well. So I was thinking, how can I intern with a STEM background in an artsy and creative space like Florence? So CEA CAPA started asking me questions. What are you really passionate about? Let's just bounce over that. And I told them I'm interested in poetry. I told them I'm interested in winemaking. And then someone from CEA CAPA stopped me for a second. Then they said, okay, you're interested in winemaking. Why not look into the chemistry behind winemaking whilst you're in Florence? And that really started that conversation and that process of me being able to intern in Florence at a winemaking villa. So I interned at a place called Villa Lucorti, which is about an hour away from Florence, where I was located. So it was a moment of navigating differences because the commute there was quite long, right? So I had to take a tram from my apartment where I lived, and then have to take and transfer to a bus system. But it was a moment that I really, really loved because I was able to explore these breathtaking views. I would read a book. I would talk to locals on the bus as well in order to practice my Italian a little bit. So that was really great. But getting to the place is so crazy because number one, you don't know what the rules are when it comes to the tram and as well as the bus. So on my first day at the internship, someone from CEA CAPA actually walked with me through the whole process. They were there with me for the ride to go and for the ride to come back. So as you can see, this is me just sleeping. This was, I think I want to say 2 weeks after my internship started. Like I was already feeling comfortable like a local. Like I would know when the bus was stopping and then I would like literally wake up. Like I was very much trusting of the community around me, the people around me. I knew the bus driver's name. That's just how comfortable I was. And I wouldn't have done it if I was just thrown into it alone, but I had someone to really help me navigate that experience. So this is also my favorite part, just like Veronica talked about. I think career and professional development is really important to us as young professionals, because it's always a question of like, when you graduate from college, what exactly are you going to do? Everybody is asking you in your senior year, what are your plans after graduation? And you're always questioning yourself, what am I going to do? But I feel like because of my experiences, I was really comfortable knowing, okay, I have certain skills, not only from Skidmore in a lab, but I have skills from Florence in this winemaking place, right? So what I'm really grateful for is the place that I worked at. And it's really great because I think CEA CAPA is not just reaching out to people being like, can you take this person to be an intern? They actually talk to them and being like, who are these people? Are they the right fit for our students? Because when I was there, it really felt like this is the place for me. This is the place where I'm supposed to be at. And I'm saying that because I am a very, again, scientific person, no creative mindset at all. At least that's what I thought, right? But I was thinking to myself, usually when you are applying for a job, a lot of people say to you, hey, we want you to have 3 years of experience, right? And I have 0 experience in winemaking. All I know is to drink it, right? So it was like, okay, this is great. So what my boss did at that place, they were like, we want to help you to view yourself not only in this scientific world, but also in a creative space. So I would do wine tasting setups, right, with people coming from all over the world. And that was amazing because the location where I was at, it's actually pretty historical because the people there are linked to the royal family. So a lot of people are actually coming from all over the world trying to taste this wine, and you have to explain it to them, like the notes, the taste, where is it coming from, how is it fermented, all these things, right? So this was new to me because it's like marketing, right? This is something that I've never done before, but it allowed me to see that part of myself and be like, oh my God, I do have a marketing side to myself. And I also was able to definitely explore the chemistry behind wine, the fermentation, which is obviously my niche. But I was like, hey, maybe I don't really want to do that. So we moved into social media management, and so I was helping create their web page. These are some of the posts that I actually did myself. So I do have, you know, my signature on their web page, which is like they trusted me with 0 years of experience. All I know is to post my little selfie on Instagram, but this is the first time I was actually being able to take what is happening at this villa, what is happening at this winemaking place, and being able to show it to the other world so that they could also see and come visit. So just to talk about that, right, I'm really talking more about the internship. What was it like with academics? It is pretty crazy, I would have to say, because you have 16 credits and you're also trying to balance the 20 hours of the internship. But I really came in with the mindset of like, this is what I really want to do. But I was worried, like, how am I going to be able to have that mental health day, you know, to be able to relax and be able to see that I can actually do all these things but still be able to have to breathe in. I was really surprised, and I kid you not, on the first day, I have the person from CEA CAPA being like, we have 3 schedules for you so that we can actually be able to see what you're most comfortable with, what is going to work for you on a day-to-day basis. So this is the schedule that we worked with. So as you can see, my day with classes would start at 3, maybe end a little bit at like 5 p.m. So in the morning, I would do my internship commute, and then in the afternoon, I would do my academics. And that worked really well for me because that's the balance that I needed. So it's like they were really thinking, as much as we have the student, we want to place ourselves in the shoes of this student before they even get there. And I think that was really important because I felt like these people want to hear about me, they want to know about me, and they really want to make sure I'm comfortable whilst I'm in a new environment. So, with my academics, what was I really doing? Again, another moment of intellectual curiosity, right? So I was taking a wine marketing class, which was really beneficial because I was able to also apply it to my internship. This was really great to kind of mix those together because I was walking back to the internship with more knowledge and being able to give that back to where I was working. And I also took a sculpture making class, again, being able to find my creative side. But it's interesting because a lot of people want to separate science and art all the time, right? But with sculpture making, where is the clay coming from? How is it made? How is it dried? There's a chemistry to that. There's a chemistry to everything. And you can see that there's a link between chemistry and art. They're not really worlds apart. And that really showed me that I could have a conversation with an artsy person, even as a scientific mind. And I also was able to learn Italian language as well, because again, at the internship, not a lot of people spoke English there. So it was a learning curve, not only from me, but also from my coworkers, where I was able to actually be able to teach them English. I was giving them something, even though I was not just taking and taking. It was a moment for me to also give as well. And I think that created the bond between the two of us, me and my coworkers, just being like, hey, I learned Italian from them. And they're like, hey, we learned English from her. So when I was at Florence, the living situation was something I definitely worried about, because I was like, this is a new place, where am I gonna stay? And I take comfort really very seriously. So for me, I chose living at the social hub just because CEA CAPA had different options for us. Do you wanna have a homestay? Do you wanna live on your own, or do you wanna live in an apartment with other people? So again, it goes back to this idea of like placing themselves in the shoes of students, realizing that, hey, some people have different interests, some people have different ways of wanting to stay. And I wanted to be in a home alone, right? But it was nice because even being at the social hub, as much as you're in your own room, you're still able to find community. I mean, there was also, you have a gym there was like a rooftop where you could get the whole view, and you're talking to all these people. Not only, what was great was that this place was not only just filled with Americans, but you had access to the local community as well. So you were not stuck in this bubble. You were allowed to actually blossom, right? But this looks like a very fancy environment, and I think sustainability is important. But what's interesting is that CEA CAPA doesn't have to shout about it. They don't have to show like a name tag that, hey, we're being sustainable. You just simply find it whilst you're there. For example, the rooms themselves that are there, right? You have a situation where you're living, the moment you close the door, the lights shut off, everything shuts off automatically, right? You're being sustainable. There's a place for recycling, because that's not a big thing in Florence, but they want to make sure that you're still able to practice all these things whilst you're in a foreign land. So it's something that I'm saying, as much as it looks so fancy, there are chances for students to be able to engage with that. So I also took my interest in the cultural immersions and excursions. Oh my God, there were so many. It was like I had to sign up like literally every day. I was like, oh my God, what can I do? Because I really wanted to take this opportunity seriously. So, we did like pizza making with some of my friends. And there was also a chance to explore historical monuments. We went to the Leaning Tower of Pisa as well, which was really great. There was a pasta making class that we did, which was like making pasta literally from scratch. And I'm not a pasta person, but I tell you, that was the first time I actually started liking pasta, because it was like I made this on my own. Like I did this from my heart, and I really loved that. And I'm also a very religious person. And the time I went there was during Easter, and I was thinking to myself, how am I going to be able to find Christian people even though I'm away from home, and how am I going to celebrate Easter? Little did I know that, there's so many events going around in Florence. All I had to do was to go to the CEA CAPA Study Abroad office that we had in Florence, and they were like, hey, we already have these places, these churches that are already doing things on Easter. And it was different types of churches. You have a Catholic church, even Protestant churches were there as well. But I just chose to go to a Catholic one because I was raised Catholic by my family. And so that was really beautiful, because I was sending photos to my family and being like, I'm still a part of our religion, even though I'm in this foreign place that I didn't think I would be able to find that. So it's like, again, I'm grateful. It's just, I cannot emphasize it enough. They are placing themselves in the shoes of the students before they even get there. Like, all I had to do was ask, and look, it just appeared. It's not like by magic, really, but it's just really trying to understand the student situation. And so I think the last thing that I really want to talk about is about, like, you know, real life does happen when you are abroad. It's unfortunate that when I was abroad, I had, like, you know, an ingrown tooth that was really affecting me. And so my parents have never traveled at all. So they were like, my mom was like, okay, it's gonna be expensive. I just know it. You're just gonna have to take painkillers, like, you stay at home. And I was like, I think these people have helped me so much. I think I should ask somebody for help. Turns out, right, we have insurance as well. But what is interesting is, like, you might go to a doctor and they may not be able to understand you, especially with the language barrier, and they will either not help you or they'll give you the wrong diagnosis. But they had English-speaking doctors that they had located whilst I was in Florence. So after that, I was able to go, you know, into surgery, and this was me smiling. My friend took this photo of me after I got my surgery, which was really great. Called my mom, and I was like, Mom, it's all about asking help. I didn't have to stay in my room taking painkillers all day. Yeah. And now it's about life after studying abroad and interning. What does that look like? Of course, it's going to look different for everyone, right? Whereas other people, what are they going to use it for? For me, I was really interested. I knew that after my undergraduate, I don't want to go straight into the workforce. I want to pursue something more. So I was interested. Should I get a master's? Should I get a PhD? So I applied to a couple of programs, and before they accept you, they always have an interview. And I didn't think this. All I was ready to do was to talk about everything I've done at Skidmore College. But the first question that everyone was asking me from these programs is like, tell us about what you did in Florence. And I remember asking them, why are you asking me about Florence instead of asking me about what I did at Skidmore? They were like, this is not something that a lot of students that we have seen come here today do. Studying abroad and interning abroad at the same time is a very unique experience. And I'm here to say I'm really proud of myself that I was able to get accepted into Johns Hopkins and as well as Rutgers. Yes, thank you. And after that, I decided to commit to Rutgers for many reasons, because I really wanted a PhD program, and I also wanted to be closer to my friends. And I really think, I was telling Katie that, you know, I feel like that's the reason why I got accepted, because that was something we dwelled on. I mean, these interviews are like 15 minutes long, but a chunk of that 10 minutes was found talking about what I did abroad with my winemaking experience. So I'm really grateful to CEA CAPA, honestly, and I'm so glad I found them, and I'm sure they are also glad they found me, because now we have this good relationship, and I feel like this is not over. This is not the end. We're always going to have a great relationship. Thank you.